Hi, I'm Miss Dara from Rogers Public Library, and today we're doing crafts for the Homeschool Explorers. So today we're going to do the Netherlands. So you can pick up your packet at the library. When you pick up your packet, make sure you get your cup that goes along with it because we're going to use it for our craft today. So you're going to need, out of your packet, your coloring sheet. Make sure you color your coloring sheet, and you can fill out some facts on the back. And then you're going to need out of it this Ziploc bag, the paper here, the origami paper, and your pinwheel. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just cut out that pinwheel. Then you're going to take it, and if you notice, it has dotted lines on it, so you're going to want to cut to the dotted lines, the very ends of them. Don't go past the ends. Okay, then what we're going to do, and we want to do this first before we go on, we're going to take and put just some glue in the center, and I'm going to take one side of it, the same side each time, and glue it to the center. And you might have to put some more glue as you go around, just to make sure that stays. Because mine's wanting to pop up. And once you get it the shape like this, and I just did one side of each of those triangles there, the same side each time, I'm going to just set my glue stick on top of that, if I can get it to stay. Just kind of to hold it. You might want to use something else, something a little bit heavier if you want to get that to stay. Okay, but you don't want to squish your pinwheel, so don't squish it while you're doing it. The next thing you can do is get your cup, and we are going to wrap this green piece of paper around the very bottom of the cup and see how long it is. So this one, actually, I'm just going to cut off a little bitty piece of it, like this much. Some might need to do longer than that. Some just depends on how much you want to cut off. So then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut little cuts in this. Not all the way through, because you don't want to cut it off. We're just making grass. You can do them as wide or narrow as you want your grass to be. And I almost cut through that time. So be very, very careful not to cut through, because it'll break your thing and you don't want to do that. And it's really easy to do. Some of my grass is really, really wide. Some of it's narrower, and that's okay. Okay, and I didn't go all the way to the end, but almost. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put some glue on it on that bottom where I didn't cut so much. You can do the whole thing if you want to do the whole thing and just tape down all of your grass, or just do the bottom like I'm doing. And I'm using the glue stick. You can also use tacky glue or whatever you want to use. And what you're doing is just stick it right on the bottom here and overlap it just a little bit there at the end. And make sure it's stuck down. And the top of your grass should stick out just a little bit unless you stuck glue all over it. So then out of your bag, you're going to take, there's this piece, which they may be a little bit crooked. If they are, you can make them more even. that's supposed to be your door. So just stick it in front of your grass somewhere on your cup. If you want to, which I probably should have, you can line it up right at that dot. And you can push it down in the bottom edge and it will stay in better. But there's a dot right in the top. Then take your 2 little black squares, these are your windows, and stick them above and on either side of the door. If you want to create round windows or arched windows, you can just cut those black squares into whatever shape you want them to be. Then you can take your little pink flowers here and just stick them on the edge of the grass wherever you want them to be. And you can put just a couple on here. You can put a whole bunch, however many you want. Or if you don't want any flowers, I guess you don't have to put flowers. There we go. Let's put one more right here towards the front. Under this window. There we go. So there's our flowers. That's all I'm doing there. So then what you want to do, if you have a hole punch makes this so much easier. I didn't bring a hole punch with me. So you're going to want to take your pinwheel and poke your little brad right through the center of your pinwheel. And it's kind of hard to poke that through. So that's why a hole punch would be really nice. But it will go through there. And try to do it without squishing your pinwheel too much. Okay, then I'm going to separate my brad a little bit because it's really close together. Okay, you're going to take the brad and stick it through the hole on your cup. And don't do it too tight because you want it to turn. So maybe don't stick it all the way to the edge. Like pull it out just a little bit and then make your pieces bend on the inside. Because you want this to be able to turn. And if you get it loose enough and get your paper loose enough on it, it should, like this one, which this one's missing its door for some reason. But when you blow it, it should turn. So you have a windmill. This one's just with yellow paper instead of white, but there you go. That's it. And mine's still a little bit tight because I didn't use a hole punch. If you use a hole punch, it'll make that hole bigger and it'll make it easier to turn. There you go. There's our windmill craft. So the other craft that we're going to do today is we're going to make tulips. So these are origami tulips, and they've kind of lost their fold here. Okay, so here's another one I made. And it's a little crooked, but that's okay. All right, so what we're going to do is you can pick out whatever color you want here. You don't want to use your greens, but pick out, I have a blue and a purple. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fold it diagonal both ways. And then you want to fold it in half. And so I have every fold there, except I haven't folded it this way yet. But all of my folds went this direction. This time I want to fold it the other direction. Kind of opposite of that last fold. So that when I open this up, these kind of naturally want to go in this direction. And we're going to just let it do that. Just kind of tuck those pieces in so that we've made a triangle. So make sure your pieces are even. Your folds are good. There we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold one of these edge pieces up here. And then the other one to kind of create a diamond shape. Then we're going to turn it over and do the same one. So that we've created a diamond. Then we're going to open this up on both sides. Fold it the other direction so that we have the solid and the pieces are on the inside here now. And then we're going to take it, and the pieces that are open here, like these are a solid edge, the ones that open there, we're going to want to fold them towards the center. So we have it like this. Then we're going to flip it over and do the same thing, but make sure you're doing the ones that have the opening edge. So it looks like this. Then we're going to take this, and I'm going to take a little bit of glue, and I'm going to take and open one of these edges and stick a little bit of glue in here. Not a lot, just a little bit. And stick this other piece. And sometimes one of yours is higher than the other. If that's the case, use the higher one. But stick that piece in there and kind of hold it until it closes there. It stays really good. So if you notice this one, when I push them together, this one's a little bit lower. So I'm going to stick my glue in on this side. And it doesn't take much glue. Stick it, and you're not going very far in, just a little bit, and hold it there till it dries. And then if you remember if you've ever done the boxes that you blow up with origami, this is the same idea. So there's a hole on one end here, and it's the end where the pockets are, and you just blow that. And it just blows it right up. Then you're going to take the ends here that stick up and just pull that down. If you crush it a little bit when you're folding these down, you can always just blow it back up a little bit. And there we go. There's our flower. Make sure your pieces don't come unglued yet if you haven't got it quite dry. There's that flower. So then we're going to make the stem. And so you have two options here because you have two flowers. So these, I use the light green paper. So I'm going to use dark green paper on this one. And so you can just get like a pencil if you want to, or a skewer, or something like that, a little dowel rod, and roll it around it if you need to, or you can just roll it up yourself. So you just roll your paper. We're just making the stem. Stick a little bit of glue on that corner. And you might have to hold it for a second for that to dry really good. The petals, what we're going to do is we're going to take it and fold our piece of paper in half. And then I'm going to fold it in half the other way. And then I'm going to take my scissors And I'm going to cut a petal shape. And try to keep that lined up while you're doing it. So that I made petal shapes. And you'll have two that are just alike. All right, so on your stem that you just made, usually on mine, one end is bigger than the other. This one's actually pretty close, but usually one end is bigger. So pick the smaller end, and that's going to be where your flower goes. So on your flower here, if you notice there's that hole, you want it to be a little bit bigger. So take a pencil or something and stick that in there and kind of spread that out a little bit so that when we stick our stem in there, it will go in pretty easy. Then you could take some glue and just stick it on some edges here and stick your stem right in that hole. You might have to turn it or something to get it in. And just push it up in there a little ways. And if you get it just the right size, don't make your hole too big, but if it's just the right size, that stem should stick in there. This one that's kind of lopsided, it's because the hole was too big, and so when it dried crooked because I had laid it down. Then you're going to take your stems, put some glue on the ends of them, and just stick it on here. I kind of wrap it around. If you want to, you can use glue stick for this part too if you want. Take your other one, put some glue on it. Stick it on too. And there's my flower. All right, and then you'll do the same thing with your other piece of paper and you'll have green stems. All right, so there you go, guys. That's how you do it. Thanks. Bye.